As leaders, our job is to empower our teams to do their best work. But we can't harness the power of AI unless we overcome our fears, because we can never master anything if we fear it at the same time. I am Pınar Seyhan Demirdağ, and I'm the co-founder and the AI director of Kubrick. We're about to embark on an exciting hour together, where we will transform our perspective and get ready to make the most of AI. So let's grab a notebook as we dive into mastering this new chapter in our evolution. Between you and me, are you afraid of AI replacing your job? Honest talk, when I was first introduced to AI in 2017, I asked myself the same question. It's such a prevailing fear in the collective, and I completely understand if you felt the way I did back then. As an artist, I quickly saw that AI could very quickly replicate some of the work I was creating. Something that would take me, I would say, 5 days to complete would take AI a matter of moments by just me pushing some buttons and pulling some sliders. I could have remained an artist, absolutely, but I was truly inspired to do something else. Then I became an entrepreneur and I co-founded an AI production and software company. Why? Because I was inspired. I was not scared. I was just curious for this new revolution. AI is not replacing us. AI is not making us obsolete. Nor is it stealing anything from us. It's a tool that's been developed by other humans to serve you, us, me, so we can produce faster, optimize repetitive parts of our job, and have more creative options during our work process. Let's take a quick look through history to see how some jobs have been transformed by introducing different technologies. After all, isn't this part of human evolution? My first example will be human computers. Yeah, I said it. Human computers, like an actual job title. Did you know that in the 40s and 50s, there was a job called human computers because the electronic calculator was only invented in the 60s? Human computers would calculate complex, very complex mathematics by hand. For example, they would calculate by hand how many rockets it would take to get an aircraft into the air. These computations were done on graph paper and would take up to a week. I don't know about you, but I'm really glad that these tasks no longer need to be done by hand. My second example will be human ice cutters. Did you know that before refrigerator and freezers, humans relied on large ice blocks to chill food and beverages? These human ice cutters sourced, cut, and delivered large chunks of ice from bodies of water by doing all of this by hand. As technology evolved, these dangerous works became obsolete. And thankfully, these men don't need to risk frostbite or even losing their hands or lives. My third example, finally, will be switchboard operators. Did you know that before the rise of cell phones and automated systems, switchboard operators connected calls on landlines using a large panel by hand? Their job was to make sure calls reached the right person, but personally, I honestly wouldn't enjoy connecting calls all day, nonstop doing this, over this, over this. This job also became obsolete because automated systems made phone calls more accessible for everyone. It would have been impossible to scale such a revolutionary technology if someone in between you and your loved one needed to change a socket by hand each time you needed to say, "I love you." So if we look at these three examples, the first one was quite difficult. The second one was quite dangerous. And the third one was incredibly repetitive and dull. I don't know about you, but I think the world is a better place with an electronic calculator, ice cutting machines, and cell phones. My hope is that the people in those roles pivoted quickly and found another outlet for their unique talents. Well, at least that's what I did. Novel technologies are parallel to the needs of their time. Let me repeat one more time. Novel technologies are parallel to the needs of their time. Humans invent technology to be in the service of other human beings. And if the only constant in this world is change, I'd say we better get comfortable with it. We can do our job well only if we can define our capacity and talent correctly. The competence and the skills that are unique to humans, such as creativity, empathy, mercy, and transcendence, are beyond the reach of machines. Let's say that I'm trying to decide which is superior, a car or a human. And my solution for the comparison will be to race with it. I'm running, and the car can accelerate from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 10 seconds. Who wins? Of course, the car wins. But was that the right comparison? When we compare ourselves to a machine's capacity to do complex calculations or process high amounts of data, we would again be insulting ourselves. Why? Why? Because humans are uniquely capable of many miracles that AIs are not. So let's take a look at some of them. This is a crucial step before we start to work with AI, so we can avoid the mistake of tasking AI with the job that we need to do ourselves. The first is empathy, mercy, and moral judgment. If the Industrial Revolution was the introduction of robotic jobs, the AI revolution will be our liberation from it. All business is human business. We're emotional beings that make decisions based on our emotions and feelings, as much as, or even more than our rationale. Sure, some of the tasks can be automated with AI, but tasking AI to understand, navigate, or share the complex emotions of our team would be a great mistake. One of our biggest gifts as humanity is to discern the right from wrong based on a complex interplay of ethics, conscious, societal norms, and personal beliefs. The next human gift will be intuition. What a glory! What a mystery! Most of us carry inside of us a supernatural memory where we almost did something, but was saved or discouraged by our intuition that told us not to do that. In the art world where I'm from, I heard many stories of forgery experts that conducted several tests with tools like carbon dating, pigment analysis, and X-ray radiography. And even though all forgery tools told the experts that these were originals, they discovered on their own that they were fakes. And you know what? They had no other way to prove it to the outside world other than their intuition. The third unique human capacity is self-awareness. Do you know the expression that wisdom lets us grasp the real meaning behind words? In many workplaces that seem polished perfect, employees sometimes feel tired, frustrated, and unstimulated. Sounds familiar? I know life's challenges sometimes make it tough to find time for self-reflection. Let's take time to introspect and recognize our unique human qualities that sets us apart from machines. For example, my strengths are, I'd say, positivity, adaptability, caring, and perseverance. And I'm still working on patience. These traits are traits that AI can't replicate. What are yours? I would love to hear them. Let's take a moment and write them down in our notebook. What distinguishes us from others, and from machines. As we learn to delegate routine tasks to AI, now we will explore human aspects more deeply. In my first LinkedIn course, What is Generative AI? I made a pretty bold statement. I said that the biggest bias in AI is humanity's inferiority complex. We often marvel at AI's capabilities, comparing it to great inventions like fire, wheel, or electricity. But blindly trusting these machines can lead organizations to mediocrity and start valuing non-human centric gains. It's vital to recognize both AI's strengths as well as its limitations and how it can be best utilized alongside human insight. Let's look at these in two different sections. The first is analysis. AI offers deep analytical insights, enabling teams to make data-driven decisions with precision and foresight. This enhances overall strategic planning, but it also comes with a challenge. This can happen in a few different business areas. For example, you can use AI to personalize customer experience. The strength of AI here would be AI customizes services and swiftly responds to needs, elevating customer satisfaction. But the danger attached to AI will be that excessive AI use can strip away genuine human interaction, making experiences feel impersonal. Next, AI can be used to enhance decision-making. AI's real-time data processing aids faster, more informed decisions. But the danger is that AI may falter in new situations where human judgment is key. AI can also boost security. This has a strength where AI-driven security systems can proactively safeguard environments. Sounds amazing, yes. But this may also raise potential privacy breaches and ethical concerns if it's not coupled with human oversight. AI can also be used to promote learning and development. In this way, learning platforms powered by personalized AIs promote continuous growth. However, over-reliance can hinder the development of critical thinking and human creativity. And finally, under analysis chapter, AIs can identify new revenue streams. Awesome, right? We can use AI to identify new market opportunities and consumer trends. But without exercising caution, the lack of ethical judgment could lead to misaligned corporate strategies. All right, folks, let's move on from analysis and let's start looking at efficiency. In the realm of efficiency, AI revolutionizes work process by, first, automating repetitive tasks. This streamlines routine tasks, allowing focus on strategic work. But without oversight, automated errors could remain unchecked. It's not cool. Second, AI can also be an assistant to creative ideation. AI suggesting ideas, igniting creative thinking for you and your team. Sounds great. But the sole reliance on AI for ideas risks stagnation and lack of innovation. Third, AI can also facilitate remote work and collaboration. We can use AI to enhance remote communication and project management, but its overuse might lead to decrease in human interaction and creativity. And finally, we can reduce resource waste with AIs. AI optimizes resource usage and promotes sustainability, leading to a more efficient process. But cost-cutting measures could lead to unethical practices and job losses. In conclusion, integrating AI into our workplaces offers vast potentials in analysis and in efficiency. However, to truly benefit, we must blend AI's capabilities with human creativity, ethics, and insights. As we reflect on these areas, consider how AI can be a tool to augment and not replace the human elements in our work. This very balance will prepare our organization for a future where AI and human ingenuity coexist, driving innovation and ethical progress. Let's look at a few examples of how AI can be used in traditional roles. It's crucial to differentiate human-centric versus computational-centric tasks to ensure an effective and balanced integration into our job. Let's first look at the role of a marketing manager. I will be telling a story. We have Dimitri. He's a marketing manager, wants to create an ad for a new market, but also wants to stick to the brand's values. He works with AI to find specific audiences by analyzing online behavior and buying habits. He utilizes unsupervised learning, where AI clusters potential customers into district segments based on purchasing behaviors, online activities, and much more. With this data, Dimitri can make ads that truly connect and increase sales. However, Dimitri runs the risk of suppressing his creative marketing team's innovation by sticking too closely to data and to brand identity. When it comes to marketing and creativity, it's brilliant to use AI to sift through oceans of data. However, solely relying on data and AI risks creating soulless campaigns. This inexplicable mystique of creativity can only come out of us when creatives and marketers are given a safe and free environment to be creative. Let's look at another example, a sales representative. I'll be giving another story. This time, Naomi, she's a sales representative, and she wants a deeper understanding of her client in an effort to enhance her customer relationships. By harnessing AI, she uses historical transaction data to predict and prolong customer life value. These predictive insights help Naomi tailor her engagement strategies to ensure a long and fruitful relationship with her clients that are most likely to bring substantial value. However, here is where it gets tricky. AI might have her focus on nurturing high economic value relationships and give less attention to less economic value relationships, because numbers said so. But each of our potential customers, as you know very well, require unconditional relationship building. Because we never know, what appears to be a small account may turn into a key account overnight. So a small customer may become our biggest customer overnight. And the lesson here is, Naomi's story shows us to use AI as a helper, not as a leader, in client relationships. Combining data with human touch is truly the key to navigate customer relationships successfully. And finally, let's look at the role of a project manager. This time, we have our hero, Shoselia, a project manager. She uses AI tools to improve her workflow. She uses Monday.com for scheduling, Zebra BI for risk visualization, and Slack's AI features for her team communications. She also uses Trello's AI feature for task prioritization and Progio's AI capabilities to track project milestones. However, Shoselia became too comfortable using AI-driven tools. She started operating on autopilot and started using AI as a crutch. Yes, she started executing her tasks very quickly, but she started losing what makes her truly unique. One morning, an unexpected client request came that required a nuanced human touch in understanding and in execution. Shoselia, being consumed in her AI-driven dashboard, missed this nuance, and AI suggested an alternative route that didn't align with the client's unique needs. The error led to a delay and dissatisfaction from the client. So, what was the lesson? All right, AI is on top of its game when it comes to efficiency, but let's face it can never match the emotional intelligence of us humans. Let's combine this powerful technology with humanity's capacity to solve complex problems, ideate in the now, and creatively think out of script. And we've got a blockbuster team. Now let's even dive deeper in AI aptitude and learn about the mindset shifts that are required for all of us to become masters of AI. AI is a tool powered by parallel processing, meaning it can run multiple calculations and processes at the same time. It considers all possible options without bringing in external biases, which humans aren't very good at times. We have a tendency to bring our past experiences and future fears into the decisions that we make today. And this narrows the wealth of option one needs before making the right choice. Whenever AI is making a decision, it considers all possible options that its dataset enables. As humans, we have that capacity innately in us, but we tend to see this more linearly. Linear thinkers typically focus on one thing at a time and break down problems into smaller, more manageable steps. And don't get me wrong, this can be a very effective way of thinking for solving simple problems or for making decisions in a timely manner. However, linear thinking can also be limiting, especially when it comes to solving complex problems or coming up with new, out-of-the-box ideas. This is because linear thinking often only considers one possible solution at a time and stays inside the limits and constraints of the problem. The dark cousin of linear thinking can be prejudice and judgment-based thinking, cognitive dissonance, and skepticism. Linear thinking can sometimes limit us, making us dismiss others' opinions to stay within our own comfortable, strict boundaries. However, to solve a complex problem or to come up with new ideas, it's often necessary to consider multiple factors simultaneously and be open to new and unconventional possibilities. And this is where quantum thinking comes to play. And again, it's like a parallel processor which can run multiple calculations and processes at the same time. That's why quantum thinking is much more aligned with how AI thinks. AI doesn't have judgments or dogmas unless they are specifically coded in its database and algorithm. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, fine, yes, AI can reflect the biases of its programmers, but trust me, that's another topic for another video. Because AI runs multiple processes at the same time, regardless whether it's valid for one culture, your culture, my culture, or invalid for another, its very job is to consider all possible options within the limits of its dataset. Therefore, I expect nothing less from us humans. To effectively use AI, we need quantum thinking, which helps us see the bigger picture and explore unconventional solutions. While AI is powerful, its very effectiveness depends on us coming into the problem without our preconceived judgments of what's supposed to be right. Therefore, quantum thinking, which is to consider all possible options without judgment, is crucial to maximize AI's potential. Now that we have learned the difference between linear and quantum thinking, let's get inspired with some real-world stories that demonstrate the power of quantum thinking in the age of AI. Story 1. At a software company, engineer Ahmed didn't just focus on cleaning up bugs. Instead, he used AI to look at how users behaved and find the very big design issue. His clever thinking and AI's data helped turn sales around. All right, what happened? What did we learn here? As an engineer, Ahmed could have only focused on the task that was given to him, which was to iron out the bugs. Instead, he decided to view the problem from multiple different angles, identifying a crucial design flaw that linear thinking could have missed. Story 2. In their marketing firm, Gabriela tried something completely new. She used AI for many small campaigns at once in real time, changing them based on what people liked. The smart use of AI made her campaigns really connect with people. What did we learn here? Gabriela's use of quantum thinking let her see the bigger picture, using AI to simultaneously run and adjust multiple campaigns in the same time, which linear strategies wouldn't achieve. And my story 3 will be, as a product designer, Jonathan didn't play it safe. He mixed 2 different unorthodox design ideas using AI, creating something completely new. He followed his intuition, and with AI's help, he found a hot new market that everyone overlooked. All right, what did we learn here? While the rest of the product designers in his firm labeled these out-of-the-box crazy ideas as controversy and approached them with skepticism, Jonathan instead chose to playfully entertain those ideas during his ideation sessions with AIs and unlocked an entirely new market. As we can see, quantum thinking can be a powerful tool for solving problems and coming up with new ideas. However, I understand it can be difficult to shift from linear thinking to quantum thinking. So here would be my tips and tricks. So let's write them down in our notebook that we're using throughout this course. My first tip would be to be open to new ideas. Quantum thinking is all about considering all the possibilities, even if they are outside of our comfort zone, and that we consider them controversial or approach them with skepticism. When we are faced with a problem, let's try to identify all the different factors that could be contributing to the problem, not just the first idea. Once we have a good understanding of all the factors involved, only then let's start to brainstorm different solutions. My second tip would be to embrace uncertainty. Quantum thinking involves letting go of the need to know everything, control everything. When we are trying to come up with a new idea, let's try to think expansively and consider all the different possibilities, even if they seem unrealistic at first. As much as possible, when making a decision, let's try to say in the now, without carrying all our projected fears about the future into the now, or without being stuck in our old patterns that have been chaining us to the past. AI makes decisions today, in the now, this very now, and they're free from any fear or thought about what happened yesterday or is going to happen tomorrow or 10 years from now. AI generates solutions in the very moment. Again, like I said before, I expect nothing less from us humans. And finally, be creative, have fun, keep it light. Fun, humor, and being creative are agencies that are reserved for us, for human beings. When we are light and we are fun, it unlocks a world of possibilities that weren't available to us when we're bogged down in worry and anxiety. Quantum thinking is a powerful tool that can help us be more successful in all areas of our life, not just when building AI aptitude. Subconscious reprogramming? Do we even know what subconscious means? Where is it? What does it do? How wide is it? How tall is it? I'm joking. Carl Jung, a pioneering figure in analytical psychology, played a very important role in bringing the subconscious forward. What we know as destiny is something that we can control and that we can change by becoming aware of what lies in our subconscious. But hold on. What? This girl, me, talking to you about psychology in the middle of my AI education? Bingo. The answer to your question is the very key in building our AI aptitude. Because humans model machines after themselves. And unless we understand how our own biological data sets and algorithms work, how can we consciously design and direct machines to serve our best needs? See? In my first course, I talked about the very basics of AI as a dataset, as an algorithm, and as an output. As you remember, we gather a dataset, we train an algorithm, which results in outcomes. So if we want to change the outcomes, we either need to change the dataset or the algorithm, or sometimes both. The human mind actually works the same way. Our memories and experiences form our dataset, especially those that were registered between ages 0 and 16, and that is our subconscious. Our beliefs are like a program in our mind, constantly running, shaped by our memories and experiences. They control how we see and understand the world. Because it's only by learning to master our own minds that we can begin to understand how the mind of the AI works, identify its biases, and reprogram its limitations. When we don't understand our own biases, how can we recognize the biases of the machine? Just like hitting the gym for a better physique, overcoming our biases needs some mental gym time too. Think of it as upgrading our brain software. It's about tweaking how we think and how we feel so we can work smarter and more ethically with AI. Subconscious reprogramming, I know it might sound new and different for our work life, but please trust me, if we try these following steps, we'll really get a great grip on how our minds work. So let's give it a go. Step 1 is facing our fears and identifying our strengths. Let's grab our notebook and our pink pens and find a quiet spot, or put some headphones with calming music if you're in a noisy environment, and let's start writing. Let's list all our positive and negative memories, especially those from our younger years. What are the repetitive sentences that we heard in our home while we were growing up? And what were the belief systems that the community and society where we were growing up had on repeat? For example, my positive memory would be, my family always told me that I'll be a great lawyer because I kept on coming with great arguments for things. Now, on the negative side, I grew up with my family always telling me, our neighbors are better, our neighbors are richer, they're more good looking. So I'll write that on the negative memories page. Next, on another page, let's write down our strengths and fears we feel today, this very moment. Now let's compare our positive memories with our strengths and our negative memories with our fears and weaknesses. This very process will help us understand how our past shapes our present beliefs and habits. So you might be thinking, what does this have to do with AI? Well, did you know that your personal fears and weaknesses can influence the way you work with AI? They can become biases in the AI's decisions. For example, if I were to still put others above myself, just like my family did when we were kids with my neighbors, I wouldn't trust my own instincts as much. I would be putting AI on a pedestal and myself inferior. And that's why I might have relied more on AI as a crutch for my decision making. Another example, if our weakness is laziness and impatience, we tend to rush tasks, failing to thoroughly check AI's work, leading to mistakes and over-reliance on the models. And this can result in costly errors for both of us and our company. Remember, how we are shapes how we use AI. So now that we have identified those strengths and weaknesses, let's move on step 2 in subconscious reprogramming. Breaking routines. Changing our routines create new neural pathways, helping us embrace new perspectives. Let's try some exercises to step out of our comfort zone. My tips would be explore opposite views. I know it sounds crazy, but let's try to take the time to listen to unconditionally and generously to someone whose views starkly contrast with ours. This practice can break the mold of our routine thoughts, expanding our understanding and tolerance towards the diversity of opinion that exists beyond our regular circle. My second tip would be to look inside the eyes of a stranger. I know we are not taught to look inside of each other's eyes. That's sad, I know. This can be a moment of discomfort for some. Well, actually, the more uncomfortable we are, the better it is for us. Let's try holding a momentary gaze with a passerby and smile deeply. We'll not only be rewiring our neural pathways, but we'll be making the day of a stranger. My third tip would be to shuffle our morning routine. For once, tomorrow, try introducing a new element like meditation, a different exercise routine, or a new breakfast menu. It may seem small, I know, but changes like these do really make a difference. And finally, my last tip would be to get out in nature. Dedicate one morning, at least, each week to walk in a nearby nature reserve or park. Let's allow ourselves to observe and appreciate new surroundings. Scientific studies have demonstrated that nature walks can and do stimulate the creation of new neural pathways in our brains. These are just a few ways to start breaking routines. And self-awareness is a very important part of AI aptitude because, again, we model our tools after ourselves. That's why understanding our subconscious helps us interact with AI more effectively. When we know our own biases and fears, we avoid projecting them onto AI. And that's when we can use AI as a tool and not a crutch to enhance our productivity and creativity. Intelligence and conscious awareness, while being interconnected, are two different essential facets that shape our interactions, both with the world and with the AIs we are increasingly engaging with. Historically, our education system has emphasized computational intelligence, often overlooking the distinction between it and conscious awareness. Recognizing the difference between these two is perhaps the most important realization we need before we begin building our AI aptitude. After all, it's our conscious awareness that truly defines our difference and it elevates us above the machines. Intelligence involves cognitive skills like memory, reasoning, and problem solving. AI tools like GPT mirror these abilities, processing and learning from data. However, conscious awareness goes beyond just intelligence. It encompasses wisdom, ethics, and a deep sense of the impacts of our actions. Now let's explore a bit further the difference between intelligence and conscious awareness. Intelligence is evident in strategic, computational activities like chess, puzzles, or programming. These tasks have measurable and clear outcomes. But in contrast, conscious awareness is shown in immeasurable, deeply personal actions like empathy, loving unconditionally, or making ethical decisions. While intelligence is logical and problem-focused, conscious awareness is emotional and intuitive, involving empathy and ethical understanding. In real life scenarios, these two dimensions often intertwine for the most effective results. For example, in architecture, while technical skills and intellectual understanding, which is intelligence, are crucial, the inclusion of empathy, emotional insight, and a deep awareness of client needs and environmental impact, which is conscious awareness, are equally important. Such a combination ensures that the buildings not only serve the functional purpose, but also resonate on a deeper, more human level with those who use them. To boost intelligence, let's engage in strategy games. Plan a game night with chess or Monopoly with friends. Explain your strategies out loud to deepen your understanding. And for conscious awareness, let's try activities like laughing, like dancing, like nature gazing, journaling, or listening to others. Nature walks can also be a great way to connect with yourself and the world around you. These activities help us step out of our routine thinking patterns, nurturing our inner selves. I know there's a big fear around AI in the collective, and we can all see it in popular movies. In The Matrix, humans become mere power sources for machines, losing their grip on reality. And Terminator presents a Skynet-driven apocalypse, where unchecked AIs lead to humanity's near extinction. What these both have in common, though, is that humans in these stories didn't practice conscious awareness about the machines they were building. No matter how small or big our contribution or interaction with AIs, let's never forget that we live in an intertwined collective where our actions significantly impact the fabric of our shared future. Expanding our conscious awareness changes how we engage with AI, enhancing our creativity and productivity. It reflects a shift in our feelings, our thoughts, and our expressions, making our interaction with AI much more effective and purposeful. All right, folks, we've been dancing around the subject for far too long. Let's go to the bottom of defining AI aptitude. An individual with AI aptitude understands the right moments and methods to utilize AI for enhanced productivity and meaningful results. In order to learn the right task to give to AI, let's use kitchen as our analogy. Every kitchen, and in our case organization, has its own quirks. Some might have state-of-the-art ovens, while others prefer the charm of a rustic stove. While the essence of AI aptitudes remains consistent, the flavors it takes will vary across organizations. And identifying these 4Ds when working with AI is crucial in finding the right moments to engage AIs in our workflow. And these 4Ds are dirty, dull, dangerous, and difficult. We're going to be using our notebooks here, so let's pick them up again. And I want you to draw a grid of 4, with dirty, dull, dangerous, and difficult at the top. All right. Let's start with dirty. Picture a splattered kitchen countertop after a baking afternoon. The mess, the scattered flour, the spills. These represent the dirty tasks in our organization. These are the tasks that, I know, while essential, often create clutter and chaos. In AI terms, these could be the data cleaning process or error-prone manual inputs that AI can seamlessly handle on itself, keeping our kitchen clean and ready for action. Let's write in our notebooks, what are the dirty parts of our workflow? Do we have any manual cleaning process? Do we need to do a lot of regular updates or software padding? If so, AI can help us optimize these manual and robotic jobs. Now, while AI keeps our kitchen clean, we can focus on more meaningful parts of the job. All right, the second D will be dull. Have you ever made a dish where you needed to constantly stir the pot? I know it's annoying because it's repetitive, and while someone might find a rhythm in it, it can be monotonous for many, at least for myself. Now let's go back to our organization. What are the dull tasks we and our team are constantly performing? For example, routine report generation, invoice processing, posting the same content in 4 different social media channels, 1,000 tasks relating logistics and inventory. Think about your organization and write it down in the notebook. With the right AI tools, we can automate these tasks, ensuring consistency while freeing up time for more creative or strategic endeavors. And third D will be dangerous. Back to the kitchen. Visualize your gas stove on maximum with 4 pans boiling, sizzling, and splattering all over the place. The potential for burn is real. In an organization, these dangerous tasks could be those that pose a risk, perhaps due to human error or sheer complexity of the task. And we don't need to operate an industrial inspection site or sewage cleaning service or a gold mine to harbor dangerous tasks in our workflow. Humans are marvelous creatures, don't get me wrong, but you know the expression, we are only human. When used consciously, we can greatly benefit from the computational offerings of AI to minimize errors. Let me inspire you. What is our system for vendor vetting? Do we have an automated process? What can we do to minimize the risk of hiring the wrong person? How about compliance and legal? Can any oversight be optimized so humans can be alerted when there's an anomaly? How about security? Is there a way we can monitor systems in real time or do predictive maintenance to prevent incidents before they occur? Write those down too. And finally, the fourth D, the difficult. Some recipes are intricate, requiring precision and a keen eye for detail. Like from where I am, the Turkish stuffed grape leaves. Whew. Similarly, there are tasks within an organization that are complex and demanding. But don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about tasks that require craft and artisanal integrity for greatness, like in the creative process. I'm talking about extremely tedious jobs, like some form of data analysis, or what if you need to come up with several variations of a creative idea? That can be difficult, especially when you are tired and run out of inspiration. Within these difficult tasks, we can use AI as a tool to assist ourselves. It doesn't take all of the work off our shoulders, but it will ease the burden. All right, folks. Now that we have understood the right moments and methods to utilize AI for enhanced productivity and impactful results, in the rest of this chapter, let's dive deep into the 3 essential skills pivotal to mastering AI aptitude. Nobody wants to hear that they have prejudices, dogmatic views, or they exhibit judgment in their decision making. Well, yet all of us do. Fear is the chain that binds us to dogmatic thinking. What if I'm fired for this decision? What if I upset my manager and they do not give me the raise I'm looking for? What if we get backlash for this creative campaign? I know I'm exaggerating, but it's the case. We may not be actively aware of them, but I can assure you that unconsciously, we are making several fear-based dogmatic decisions from small to large each day. If we were to simplify dogmatic thinking with one single sentence, I'd say dogmatic thinking is being trapped to the past experiences when making decisions. Well, I have some news, folks. This is exactly how AI works. AI can only make decisions with the data and algorithm it is trained on yesterday. AI is a pattern recognition machine. It loves definitive paths, clear instructions, and has no capacity to snap out of its algorithm and come up with an out-of-script new solution, which is the very definition of creativity, creative thinking. AI reflects back what's coded into, magnifying our biases and limitations like a very bad focus group. And this will lead us and our organization to be stuck to the past instead of being innovative. Our biggest challenge is not to stop being dogmatic altogether. I know it's like impossible, but at least just to see or admit that we may have been making dogmatic decisions at all. The way to overcome them is not to punish ourselves for exercising judgment-based decisions, but to feel the joy of curiosity and excitement towards how much more we'll be positively contributing to the team once we start identifying our limiting beliefs and start exercising free creative thinking. Factors like ego, fear of vulnerability, and a desire to maintain a constant self-image often hinder our admission of being wrong. This resistance to change, amplified in an AI-driven environment, can lead to significant consequences. AI is like a magnifier. If we were to make judgment-based decisions in our everyday life, yeah, it might impact a few people, but with AI, it could impact millions. This is why understanding ourselves and our biases is pivotal when working with AI. A practical exercise to challenge dogmatic thinking involves discussing sensitive topics among our team. What do you consider as taboo and sensitive topic in your culture and in your organization? Embrace your differences as strengths and listen generously, heartfully, without forming counter-arguments. This approach not only fosters understanding, but also mirrors how AI processes conflicting information, calmly and expansively. AI never gets angry or agitated when presented with conflicting opinions. It simply computates and expands its capacity to offer broader solutions. If this technology that runs on batteries can expand its body of knowledge with conflicting opinions, why do we resist welcoming opinions that clash with our truths? Another practical exercise would be to identify a very deeply held belief and explore its counter-arguments. For example, if we firmly believe that life is hard, like really hard, try exploring counter-arguments, why it's actually really easy, why life is filled with wonderful surprises. This practice encourages a mindset of exploration and creativity, and it ensures that our interactions with AI are enriched with curiosity and not constricted by our biases. Until generative AI, creativity was like the blank canvas waiting for the inspiration of its artist. Well, folks, the canvas isn't blank anymore. Now it's alive with colors that seem to think and move on their own, inviting us to engage. This is curatorial creativity in the AI era, navigating through a vast sea of AI-generated content, handpicking the best, refining it, and adding our unique and authentic human touch. Our task in curatorial creativity is to select the options that resonate deeply with us, much like choosing the ripest fruits in a crowded market. Think of generative AI tools like GPT, DALL-E, Kubrick, or Jasper as a symphony of endless melodies. They don't just follow the conductor, they create new tunes. But every symphony needs direction, as you know, and that's where our human touch, our curatorial creativity comes into play. Let's dive in and learn to direct this orchestra. In curatorial creativity, roles and responsibilities are diverse. Just like art curators, magazine editors, orchestra conductors, and chefs of Michelin star restaurants, we need to evaluate, refine, and direct the flow of content. Let's look at this like a chef in a top-tier restaurant. For effective curation, you don't need to grow every ingredient. You're not growing them, but you are selecting them and combining and presenting them expertly. Similarly, in AI-driven curation, we're not always creators, but critical discerners. AI offers a vast array of ideas and insights. Our job is to blend these flavors into memorable and authentic experiences. The benefits of curatorial creativity are many. With AI, our pantry is always full. This abundance lets us experiment, creating combinations and outcomes we might never have thought on our own. These results can be surprising, delightful, and innovative, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. However, there are challenges, just like anything. Imagine a restaurant with a vast menu where every dish is just average. In AI-driven creativity, there's a real risk of settling for good enough, leading to mediocrity, normalization of mediocrity. The real challenge is balancing the endless options AI offers with our creative input to avoid becoming complacent. Let me tell you a curatorial creativity moment I recently experienced. As Kubrick CEO, I often need to joyfully deal with problems. For instance, one time, a few of our subscribers wanted a specific change in our end-user license agreement. I empathized with their needs, they were right. But this went against our lawyer's advice. I used ChatGPT to create 3 clauses variations in legal language. They call it legalese. I love it. To my delight, our lawyer approved one, allowing us to update the agreement and satisfied our user's request. I did not write this clause on my own. I cannot. I curated it for our lawyer to validate. For practice, try crafting a short story using AI. It doesn't have to be complex. It could be a short, sweet, simple tale with personal meaning. Let's start with ChatGPT to generate ideas. Then start weaving in your personal memories. In the beginning, there's probably a great chance that it's not going to resonate with you. Or if you find ideas that the AI gives you too cliché or too not original. But that's great, because now you get to assess the story and change the prompt to fit your unique perspective and the personal lesson that you want to share. If you just did it once, it wouldn't be right though. You have to do it iteratively, non-stop. And this balance of AI options and the personal insights leads us to authentic and meaningful and creative creations. Curatorial creativity marks the dawn of a new era where AI tools enhance our creativity. Now our roles are evolving from a cook to an executive chef or discerning director. In this renaissance, AI is our canvas and curatorial creativity is our brush. We are getting ready for a future where technology and human ingenuity blend harmoniously. When we communicate, we adjust our words to suit our audience, be it a child or be it an adult. Similarly, when interacting with AI, especially language and text-to-image models, it's crucial to tailor our prompt to fit their mind. Let's look at some of the nuances of communicating effectively with these AI models. Let's start with LLMs, large language models. Language models like Falcon, Palm, Llama, ChatGPT, Claude, or Bard are designed for human-like interaction. They understand and they generate text in complete sentences. They're versatile though. They assist anyone from interns to managers. We can ask simple questions or request detailed analysis. For example, a sales manager might use Bard or GPT to analyze sales data. They could start broadly, summarize this data, last quarter's sales, and then they refine to show sales by region and then delve deeper. Why did sales drop in the South? Finally, they'd seek solutions. How can we improve Southern sales? You can't just go right into the last step because for AI to make decisions, it needs to understand the scope of the problem first. This step-by-step refinement provides clear and actionable insights for AI model to be able to generate those solutions. Now, let's move to text to medium. What's text to medium? Text to picture, text to video, or text to music? Text to picture and text to music prompts differ from language models. They require specific keywords or phrases, often crucial for creating images or music. Each of these media have its own rules and nuances. But to keep it short, let's focus on text-to-image prompts. Unlike the conversational style of LLMs like GPT, text-to-picture prompts rely heavily on specific and descriptive input to create images. For example, if we are seeking to generate an image of a sunset over a mountain range, our prompt needs to include detailed descriptions like sunset or mountain range, and any additional elements like snow-capped or autumn colors to guide the image generation. The precision of these prompts directly influence our outcome, making it crucial to carefully consider each word in our prompt. The AI creativity fills in the gaps of our prompts based on its training data, so clarity here is very essential. For instance, if we want a whimsical violet mountain, we must specify it, as AI will default to more realistic interpretations otherwise. This approach requires a different kind of creativity and precision, focusing more on visual elements, their order of importance, and their descriptive accuracy to achieve their desired results. Word order also significantly impacts the outcome. For example, violet mountain range at sunset emphasizes the violet hue more than mountain range at sunset with violet peaks. See how these are similar, but yield two completely different results. Understanding these nuances helps align AI-generated images with our vision. Mastering AI speak isn't just about giving commands. It's about building a beautiful dance with an incredible tool. Whether we're interlacing words or crafting images, it's the collaboration between us and this incredible tool that paves the way for impactful creative work. All right, we made it! Woohoo! When we master AI aptitude, we not only become great users of AI, but we become amazing leaders. As Timeless Wisdom says, know thyself. Because these fears that we have around, AI is going to take our jobs, AI is going to replace us, and so on are only true as long as we don't think through how we're using AI as a tool in the service of humanity and our organization. But I also want to broaden our AI aptitude outside of our workplace. We're in the midst of a major shift in how we understand work, earning, money, and survival. Traditionally, we've seen people pick a job, maybe not their passion, but it's a job, work until retirement, and that's it. Pretty straightforward, right? But AI changes that. In the linear and quantum thinking video of our course, we have learned that to master the age of AI, we need to leave linear actions and start thinking recursively, multidimensionally. What if we could earn a living comfortably without the grind of traditional work? Imagine programming an AI to do dirty, dull, dangerous, and difficult tasks for us, with our role being just oversight and quality control. Sounds unbelievable. Yeah, but it's happening right now. But as we learned in the curatorial creativity section of our course, it's vital to blend AI with our unique talents to avoid normalizing mediocrity. Our human touch transforms AI outputs into something very special. Search online, in social media, and you'll find a world of innovative ideas, from publishing fully generated children's books to programming non-player characters that earn money for us. If you're thinking, oh, this is just for techies, I'm just a normal person, well, think again. Revisit the dogmatic views versus creative thinking video. Let down your guard and tap into your creative potential. Generative AI is accessible for everyone, much like how the internet, computers, and cars were once new technologies and now are just like everyday tools. As we close our course, remember that we're at the forefront of a transformative era. Transformative not only technologically, but transformative for us humans. It is time that we rise to our greatness, our maximum human potential, to be able to extract the maximum of AI's computational potential. Let's always remember, AI is a tool made by humans to aid other humans. By questioning, by thinking out of the box, acting out of script, we're not just preparing our organization for future, we're also creating a space where collaboration and creativity and innovation flourishes. The more we step into this dimension of awareness, empathy, and all the other higher principles of humanity, the more we will be letting robots be robots and humans be the amazing conquering species we were born to be. I am so excited to witness this change inside all of us while we together step into this new era. I would love to hear from you, from all of you, changes that happened in your mind, the new realizations and awakenings this course brought to you. Well, everyone, good morning, good night, wherever you are, stay free and stay happy.